But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we bring to you Dr. Judy Wurtman. And Food for Mood, of course, Judy joins us every week. She is the co-author of the Serotonin Power Diet, serotoninpowerdiet.com on the web, and also Simon Loses His Tummy. Good morning, Dr. Wurtman.
Good morning to both of you.
Or good afternoon, fresh from Tel Aviv.
That's true. It is about 2 o'clock this afternoon, but it's okay. I managed to sleep last night. And it was indeed actually a pleasure to be in a place where, even though the technology is extremely advanced, I did not have to be tied to my computer or tied to my voicemail or tied to a recorded message saying, we'll be with you in a minute, and listen to horrible music. All related to what I wanted to talk about today, which is does the frustration that we all experience and anxiety and anger and really just general agitation when we find that our computers aren't working, we lose a document, we are put on hold because we have to get a hold of somebody, and all we hear is music and we'll be right with you. You are very important to us, and we're on hold for 20 minutes.
Yeah, you don't feel important when that happens.
Yes. Or something stops working, like our cell phone. We can't get our phone to work. We can't get our messages. Nothing is working at all. Does all that frustration really account for weight gain? And I just think it's a really overlooked trigger for one of the reasons that we tend to overeat. Because I was talking to a friend of mine, and I had mentioned to her, and she said, "Oh, my modem's not working. I don't have my computer all weekend." She said, "I'm going to eat my way through the weekend until they come on Monday to just replace my modem so my computer is up." And she's a writer and an editor. And I thought, we all go through this, and we almost take it for granted that, I don't know, one day a month or maybe more often, or hopefully less often, something's going to happen. I mean, you've talked about it, in terms of your own studio, things not working. And the problem is that it's sort of an unknown. We can't, you call a doctor to make an appointment because you don't have an emergency, you don't need to go to the hospital, but you simply want to get through to somebody to talk about a problem, and you never get through. Or, you're told, you may be called back the next day, and you're waiting on hold. Or in my case, I had to get through to somebody at a courthouse, in a county courthouse in Massachusetts. And for 3 weeks, I called, and I finally got a hold of somebody who said, "Oh, yeah, that phone is out of service," or "that person is dead," or "that person no longer works here." And, and the thing is, Jill, that because I have my cell phone, I'm no longer tethered to a cord attached to a landline. I can walk around, an office, an apartment, whatever, and walk over to places where there are food. And, sometimes it's very hard not to munch my way through all this frustration. And I do think that we are, as a society, so vulnerable to this. And one of the things we do when we get frustrated, not in the middle of a crisis like, "Oh, my gosh, I just lost this document I'm working on for 5 years," or, "Oh, my gosh, it's been 3 weeks and I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody at this county courthouse," but when it's all over and you feel that you have to get that adrenaline coming down because the problem's been solved, or it's all over and you just feel that you have to deal with the aftermath of not being able to get that problem solved, people tend to eat. And when they don't tend to eat, and they don't tend to go to the refrigerator and start steaming broccoli.
No, you're absolutely right. And this is important because this is one of the regular triggers. I mean, for one thing, people are totally sitting on their bums anyway, in a lot of cases, even though they're not tethered. They're not going out A, B. B, that sort of irritant is a major and known stressor for just unconscious eating, nibbling, snacking, whatever, because it's terribly frustrating. I alluded to my latest. This is now the second time in 4 months that Bank of America has had to replace all of our credit cards because of fraud. Because
that happens to me too.
Right, but the reason that it happens, and this is the part that I find absolutely baffling, is that everybody put all their information in the same place. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But forgetting that humans have some sort of just, I don't know, naivete or mental deficiency when it comes to this sort of thing. There's no system in place to
do it efficiently, and so you have to do it one by one by one by one. And the point is, you get frustrated. I said it's not, it's not the end of the world. I said, it's not that we're dealing with
we're not dealing with death
on our computer. We're not dealing with hurricanes. Thank God, most of us. Compared to what's happening now in the South, it's not a major crisis, and yet it affects so many aspects of our life, and we feel helpless. What do? You can't. You
yell and you grind your teeth, and then you eat.
Yes. Oh, and somebody gets on the line, and you can't understand the accent.
Right.
That's happened to all of us because it's the middle of the night, but it's not the middle of the night where the technician is living, and you what did you say? And how do I do this? Or somebody says, well, I'll help you figure out your computer problem, and then you just can't do it. I've had friends who've cried, when their computers aren't working. And then when you get over that, you go and look for something to eat to calm yourself down. And you eat something sweet, something fatty, you eat cookies, ice cream, potato chips. You eat something that is, the carbohydrate will calm you down, but it has, too many calories to really not do an effect, have something to
have a negative effect, a deleterious effect.
And you're right, you're sitting there. I mean, I think one of the things that we ought to do is maybe constructive pacing. Maybe... Or balance activities. While you're sitting there or standing there waiting for somebody to answer the phone, if ever, then do squats or, stand on one foot or walk up and down and see how many steps you're doing. Or maybe we should, use one of these apps that, calms us down, like breathe more slowly or meditate. I mean, the apps that tell you you're stressed are really useless. I mean, do you have to need an app to tell you you're stressed?
No, your head is already exploding because of the incompetence of the artificial intelligence that's supposedly making you feel better.
Well, it's funny that you say this because my trainer shows me a way where I can exercise around the house. And when you just said when you get frustrated around the house, and you said squats, do you know if you can't do squats? The way he's taught me to do squats? Is go into the bathroom, close the toilet seat, and then just down and up, down and up, down. He said it's not a full squat, but it gives you most of what you would get.
Balance that. That would actually be a real distraction because we talked, a couple of weeks ago. It's very hard to balance, and so you just when you're pacing, just put one foot in, having the
or hold one foot up. Or put it right in front of the other one, or that happens to be what I do. It's not good for my teeth, but in other words, I can balance and grind my teeth simultaneously. Sadly,
really wonderful, Jill.
Yeah,
but the thing is, we have to find because we are not going to avoid this problem. It is with us every single day.
Yep.
And we never know when the next hurricane of disaster is going to happen with our computers, our cell phones, our iPads, etc. And so I think we have to realize that is something that's causing us to gain weight. And I assure you, if you went into a Weight Watchers or went to a nutritionist or a doctor who said, why are you gaining weight? Why did you gain weight? Nobody would say, well, it's because, as you said, Bank of America made me change my credit card twice in 2 months. I mean, nobody would even think about it.
Except that every day, again, and this doesn't count for actual disasters make adrenaline and you're not that hungry.
Right.
But this is ubiquitous in people's lives. You can't find anyone who hasn't had some sort of technological incident that has just basically sent the whole cast the day asunder.
And how many times have you spoken to a friend who said, I can't talk to you now because I'm on hold?
Right.
Also, remember now, Judy, you can't say Weight Watchers anymore. It's WW.
You're kidding.
No, they're changing the name. They're changing the name. Yeah, they're actually changing the name to WW.
What does that mean?
Weight Watchers. I guess it's like Kentucky Fried Chicken didn't want to say fried, so they said KFC. Weight Watchers. I guess they don't want people to think that they're dealing with weight.
Because you can't say F anymore.
It's unbelievable.
Oh,
how about MO?
What is MO?
Morbidly obese.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
Something, maybe that's the answer, simply to giggle your way through a whole time. Maybe that's what they should do.
The words are losing weight.
Dumb music, if they had jokes, a man walks into a bar, maybe that would really help people, because if you're laughing, you can't eat. And if you call, I'm going to call this number, and the courthouse, and they tell jokes online, I probably would not be quite so angry when somebody picks up the phone.
All right.
Thank you very much. Dr. Judy Wurtman.
Anyway, talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Food for Mood.
And, of course, you're going to hear Judy here on Robin Hood Radio every Thursday morning before the Lakeville Journal.